Hi everyone, my name is Victoria, and today I'm going to talk to you about setting up goals.
So, I know many of you probably watched many videos like this before, but I want to tell you one thing. I've been really obsessed with books about habit setting since 10 years. I've always read The Power of Habit or Atomic Habit and other books. And I've been always really into setting goals, and I've always struggled with consistency, which most people always do. And then for some reason this year, I had this idea of setting up bi-weekly accountability calls with my girlfriends, and the results have been so massive in my life that I said, okay, I have to document this and share it with people. So we only started our accountability calls 2 months ago, and honestly, if it wasn't for the process we're using, I don't think I would have accomplished all of what I accomplished in 2 months in a whole year. And I have to say, I have a 9 to 5 like everyone. And I believe that you actually don't really need this much time as people imagine it would usually take. What you really need is to set up your goals, to write them down, and to actually have some excitement for changing your life. Honestly, I'm not selling anything. There's no link for you to click by the end of the video or anything. But I truly believe you can be a goal tackling machine by following this process. At least it did work for me. So I would hope it worked for you guys too. My personal results so far in only 2 months have involved starting the gym, going to hot yoga, so exercise. I started budgeting and saving. I started going to real cool events and just having cool experiences in London. I moved to London recently. One of my goals as well was to make friends, and I made loads because I made a process out of it, which I think it's insane. And I also think it's really cool. I also started classes that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do acting, and I finally started. In fact, I enrolled into 4 different classes so far. And I'm even planning to visit a new continent this year. And actually these results have been accomplished after only 1 month of our accountability calls. So I really want to show you how do we do it. So to make this a comprehensive series, I decided to break it down into 3 parts. So this first part is about setting up the goals. The second one is about putting the goals into practice and actually, keeping the consistency. And the third part is going to be about all the results that I got and the learnings that I had in the whole process and how could this be constantly improved. But now let's go to the step by step. So did you know that you are 42% more likely to achieve a goal just by writing it down? Actually, just the habit of writing things down makes you actually acknowledge what you want to do, and it gives you impulse, it literally gives your mind impulse towards the goals you want to do. But there are good ways, and there are great ways to write down your goals. And that's why I'm going to introduce the SMART method. So SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So first, you want to be specific when you write a goal. You don't want to say, I want to get fit. You want to say, I want to run 3 times a week. You want to use real measures. You want to use real numbers and real deadlines. So you can make sure you understand how are you setting up your goal. You also want to make sure your goal is measurable. So when is your goal going to be completed? Is it when you complete a course? Is it when you attend a specific event? Is it when you manage to save 15% of your salary for 3 months? You want to make sure you know that so you can really understand when did you finish, right? You also want to make sure your goal is attainable, because you want for your goal to be challenging, but you don't want for it to be crazy, right? If you never run before and you want to run a marathon, you cannot run it tomorrow. There's also goal for financial goals. So if you want to backpack for 6 months, start now, understand how much you're going to need in 6 months, and start breaking it into smaller parts. And remember that you can always go up, right? You can put a very low goal for your month, and you can always overachieve it. Now, you also want to make sure that your goal is relevant. And this might be the most important letter here, because where do you want to be in 3 years' time? And is this goal going to contribute to the person you want to be in 3 years' time? So you want to make sure that your goal aligns with your long term. You also want to take a look on where you're putting effort and where you're getting good returns. For me, one of the things was I decided I wanted to bring lunch every day to work. And I recognized that actually doing that was not bringing me as much return as I thought it would. I know that for most people do, especially financially speaking, but I happen to have the joy. I have 2 supermarkets in front of my work. And it was actually even cheaper, I think, than cooking at home.
So I just told myself I don't actually need to cook for that to impact my financials, and also, it's just not bringing me as much return, even if I pay a little bit more and I still save that time that I was cooking. So I just dropped that off of my goal setting list. So make sure you cut those off. You have other things that are more urgent for you to focus on, right? So don't feel like you have to do anything. And finally, you want to make sure your goals are timely. So for me, I usually organize it quarterly or yearly. Me and the girls would do bi-weekly calls, and this is really good because we keep each other accountable and we keep track of things and how is it going. So we make sure we achieve most of our goals until the end of the quarter. So we're doing it quarterly. But you can do however it suits you. Putting a time to it really allows you to keep progress on things. So just a quick summary of everything I just said. You want to write your goals in a specific manner. You want to make sure you break it down into smaller items. You want to put dates onto everything, so when do you want to have things accomplished? You want to keep track of things. And finally, it is really important for you to keep a community. So you want to keep each other accountable. You want to share this with a friend. You want to have bi-weekly calls, as I'm doing. You want to, send a message every morning to your friend saying, yesterday I accomplished this, this, and that. Whatever works for you, but this is the most important part, and I will get to that later. I might cover this a little bit better in another video, but share with your friends. This is literally the most important part. The main thing here is make yourself addicted to getting started. Because the first time is always the hardest, anyways. And second, because there's this thing called the inertia principle that came from Newton. Your body is either on rest or in movement. Once you start the movement, it's harder for you to stop than to continue. So let's say you start reading a book. If you force yourself to interrupt the reading you're doing after 30 seconds, it's actually quite uncomfortable for your brain. So once you actually get started, your brain kind of wants to get going. So just make sure you get started. Because this is the main thing on the whole process. And this whole process I'm showing is literally to make you addicted to getting started. So I want to share a few of my goals with you. Remember that I started a month ago, and this is already loads of things that I got accomplished. So let's get excited, because I'm sure you're going to be able to accomplish even more than I did. Because I believe in you. More than I believe in myself. Okay, one thing I said was I want to exercise 3 times a week. The category is health, as you can see. And I put a reason why I want to do that. So yeah, also important to say, I really broke down my goals into smaller parts. So the whole exercise 3 times a week, I said, okay, first I need to research for gyms. Second, I do need to go and enroll at the gym. And third, I need to go work out. And if I want to work out 3 times a week, what am I going to do there? I want to do an upper body, a lower body, and a cardio. I know some people are very well-oriented in the gym, but I'm not. So actually writing down what was I going to do once I get to the gym actually helped me a lot, because I would get there and I would know what I have to do, because most of the time I just be like, what the freak. But the thing here is, I accounted for every single part of the process that would take part of my effort and my time. Because to me, it was a lot of effort to research, it was a lot of effort to actually go to the gym and enroll, and actually budget for it and everything. So I broke down into smaller parts, and actually that was very fulfilling, it's just tick boxes. So break it down as many parts as you need. But you can see that I categorized the goals. And the reason why I did that, it was because it makes it clear for you to see where are you most investing in your life and where is it needing more investment maybe. Because you want to have a balanced life, right? You don't want to invest all of your time in your trainings and education and neglect your health. You also don't want to focus all of your time in your friendships and building community and neglect your financials. By categorizing it, you make sure you're putting a similar amount of effort and resources into every single part of your life. I personally split between experiences, education, financial targets, health, and friendships, but you can split this as you want. There are other ways of splitting it. One other methodology that I know and I've used before, and it's quite interesting, it's called the Wheel of Life, if you like to Google it. This is a little bit how it looks like. It just allows you to make a few questions. It's a coaching methodology that makes you understand how much you invest in every single part of your life, and where is it that it's lacking resources, and where is it that maybe you don't really need to be investing. I think it's a cool thing to check it out, but I will just go back to my goals and show you another example now. Going back to my goals, one other thing that I wanna share with you guys is that things, they don't have to be so solid. They don't have to be so precise sometimes. I had a specific life goal for me, which was I wanted to meet more people. I moved to London recently. I moved only 6 months ago, and I've been trying to build a community here. I moved abroad many times. I lived in 5 countries, just so you know. And I've been trying to actually like processualize the whole meeting people. And I told myself, look, what's important here is not necessarily like the end result, right? Like if I go somewhere and don't make friends, it's not my fault. But I do need to push myself to actually like go out and try to meet people. So I put some goals for myself, such as attending at least 2 events a month. So like any meetups or like something I could find on Facebook. I started attending church, and I thought like, okay, maybe I could try to hang out with people from church. You know, I'm not just gonna like go into the service and leave. I'm gonna at least try to speak to someone before I leave. And I also told myself I needed to go to 2 dates a month, which is something that for me is a bit funny to speak about, because I never tried like, so like I never really used dating apps before or anything, but I told myself like, okay, I'm in a new city, so okay, I'm gonna go to 2 dates a month, and there's no expectations for me. I will just go and try to have fun with the person who is in front of me, right? So yeah, actually gave me like a really nice opportunity to actually like meet more locals. So either English guys or people who are just here for a longer amount of time than I have. So they give me lots of tips about the city. I get more of a feeling of how the city is and places to go. And I was telling myself like, you don't have to kiss them, especially on the first date. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But actually that did allow for me to like not feel isolated, especially at the beginning when I just moved to a new city. So whatever works for you, I would never tell anyone to go on dates just to meet people, but I allowed myself to do it, and it's actually been really nice. So the goals here, they don't like, some things don't necessarily need to be about the results, right? But I do need to push myself to at least try. So, you know, I have to go to the events. If I meet someone or not, doesn't matter. I need to go to the dates. If I fall in love or not, it definitely doesn't matter. But I do need to go. And I want to tell you that I actually made a lot of friends from the meetups and the places that I try to go. And like not just people that I met like once, but actually like people that I met several times, and we're actually friends now. So it's good. Actually like that works. So yeah. Finally, another goal that I want to share with you is that I told myself I need to follow my dreams. I've always wanted to do acting, like, you know, acting for screen, acting for camera, or acting for theater. And I enrolled in my first class, and my stomach was just like burning. Like I was just like, oh my god, like I'm so nervous when I enrolled. And I ended up enrolling not just in the first one, but in actually like 4 classes so far. I'm in the 3rd now, and the 4th one starts this week, which is so exciting. And I think it actually gave me a lot of confidence, both for my work and for maybe being here and speaking to you. So, you know, this is something that's like very close to my heart, and I said, if I don't do it right now, when am I going to do it? You don't need to have the whole thing figured out to get started. You just need to break it down into the first phases, you know, set up goals and start. And I do want to provoke you right now and say, when are you gonna do it? Also, like, remember, no one's gonna live your dreams for you on your behalf. So go and do it. Enroll in that acting class, enroll in that singing class and dancing class. I've been thinking of doing stand-up comedy also later in the year, which I'm not sure if any of you would actually enjoy, but yeah, do it. So I'm almost finishing this video. Remember, this is just the first part out of 3. So there will be more in how to actually put the goals into practice and what are the results and how can you get better in your whole process. But I just want to bring a few things for you to remember. One thing is, remember the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. I'm sure lots of you know it, but it means that 20% of your effort is corresponded to 80% of your results. So make sure you identify which goals are going to get you closer to your objectives the quickest, which ones need less effort and have a bigger result, or which ones will have a bigger result in general, like in the longer term, and invest on those. Try to skip the ones that are not going to get you that far. You don't need to be perfect. You just really need to make sure that you're investing your time on the right things, and something will stick. And also, I know I said this millions of times, but have yourself like little milestones. Break your things into smaller goals and make sure you stick to it. Because this makes it more manageable, it makes it more enjoyable, and it makes it more fulfilling because you can tick more boxes. And finally, if I could leave one thing here, and I will speak more about this in my next video, ask your friends to keep you accountable. Honestly, there is such a thing as the power of accountability. So there was a study that showed that people were writing down their goals and they were sending reports to friends. And those that were sending reports to friends managed to achieve 76% of their goals, which, imagine if you make a really big list, achieving 76% is quite massive, right? Like, it's quite great. In comparison, people who did not share their results with their friends only managed to accomplish 35%. So you wanna make your friends keep you accountable, and you wanna keep them accountable too, right? I'll tell you one thing, it's been 10 years. I love goal setting and, habit tracking and the whole thing. And it took me 10 years to find friends who would actually jump together in this with me. So if you feel like you don't have someone to do this with you, share it in the comments. Tell me, what are 3 things you want to accomplish this year, because I want to hear it. I think it would be lovely if we could actually find each other here, people who have similar goals, or just similar interests, and we can keep each other accountable, because this is the part that makes the biggest difference. And guys, it is so cool to see your friends accomplishing the things they want to do and actually growing. So yeah. Also, if you are really into habit setting and you have some really cool things that you implemented before and it worked for you, please share it with me, because I want to share it with more people. I want for people to be accomplishing their goals and really to be living the life of their dreams. And yeah, I want to keep documenting what works and what doesn't. And yeah, I really hope to see you in the next video. And let me know, how are your goals going? Bye!